Tripping head to toe. Never doubt the zone. Make you eat the crow. Laughing in your face.
Real Madrid are through to the semifinals. It doesn't matter what year you listen to this. It's probably true. Real Madrid get through the champions, through what people think is the best team in the world. They managed to somehow, some way get through Manchester City, and they'll face Bayern next. Also, Lakers beat the Pelicans. Zion exits the game apparently hurt, but the Lakers will face the Nuggets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. It's going to be a great matchup. Super pumped for that. And then Nadal comes back to play tennis for the first time in a long time. First time playing clay in almost 2 years. And he gets one win in Barcelona, and then he loses to Deminar, who's having a great year. But it looks like Nadal said goodbye to Barcelona. We'll touch on that. All of that on this episode of the Hard to Handle Sports Podcast. Let's get started. Football heritage. Real Madrid get through Manchester City. They get their revenge against City. And now, they're probably the favorites with the 4 teams left. Bayern, PSG, Dortmund. Real Madrid have made Champions League their playground, their favorite tournament. That's what they're known for. Winning Champions League, winning Europe, dominating Europe. It wasn't the prettiest of wins. I understand people that criticize Madrid for sitting back most of the game. I get it. Like, you want a team with those resources, you think that they would propose the game a little bit more. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, would you rather have the win or would you rather have pretty football? It's an easy choice. You would rather have the win, and Real Madrid gutted through. Now, if they would have lost, then those arguments have more merit, and you could totally argue against that type of style. But Ancelotti, cool as ever, made Real Madrid defend beautifully, perfect block. And in the end, Real Madrid showed their character. Lunin, got to give him props. Great goalkeeping throughout the game. Throughout the season, we plugged him in there ahead of Kepa, replacing Courtois, and he's been amazing, coming up with 2 penalty saves. Leading up to the penalties, they were saying that Lunin has stopped a lot of his penalties. He has a really good record defending penalties, and it showed. Against Silva, against Kovacic, he got it done, and Rudiger, Sierra Leone boy, scores the winner, and it was just beautiful. This is what Madrid's about. Bellingham was talking about it afterwards. Vinny and Rodrigo always talk about it in their Instagram and their comments. Like, this is Madrid. I think Vinny in Bellingham's IG post, he put, "I told you this is how Madrid is," or something like that. And it's just beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see, like, our young players know what it means to play for Madrid, and they love it. They welcome the pressure. They welcome the responsibility. Bellingham said it best. I saw an interview that he had with, I think it was Rio Ferdinand on his, I think it was like an English channel. I forgot what the channel is, but he basically said, I don't see it as pressure. I see it as a responsibility when you play for Real Madrid. Responsibility to, leave it all out on the field. The responsibility to go deep into tournaments. The responsibility to win trophies. Like, it's not pressure, it's a responsibility, and I welcome it. That fool's 21 years old, and he's talking like this. It's just beautiful. And then for Rudiger to go celebrate with the fans almost immediately after scoring the winning penalty is just, I love what I'm seeing from Real Madrid. Like, not just on the field, because they do play nice against City. Like, I understand why you sit back, but I love what I'm seeing from the locker room, the coaches. It's just, it has been a welcome sight to see it. And I think Real Madrid is the favorite. I think against Bayern, especially this Bayern, Bayern kind of use the same aura that Real Madrid has to a lesser degree to beat Arsenal. They just know how to win the Champions League, but they won't be intimidating Real Madrid like that. And Real Madrid has had a better season, so I think they should be the favorites. And then PSG and Dortmund, anything happen. Probably PSG, Real Madrid final is what's coming up. And then we'll see what happens with Mbappe if he leaves PSG to finally come to Madrid. But overall, it was just an amazing, amazing game. And Real Madrid show their heart, show their fighting spirit, which you need. It can't always just be pretty wins. You got to be able to dig deep and get the job done. And to Rodri Rodri was hating big time on Real Madrid at the end of the game. He was talking about like, I think they asked him like, oh, the two biggest teams in the world, two giants, like, what do you think of this game and how it played out? And he was like, oh, well, I only saw one team on the field, and he was all salty. First of all, Rodrigo didn't even take a penalty. He should have stepped up to it. Like, how are you gonna let a keeper go ahead of you and you're the captain? Like, you got to lead the way, And then, who cares if you only saw one team on the field? There's only one team that's moving on, and it's Real Madrid. So, Hala Madrid. But moving along, let's talk about the Lakers beating the Pelicans. They get through to the playoffs. I mean, the game, I was worried because the Pelicans did make a run and Zion was going off, like 40 points, and then he left injured. But we had just beaten the Pelicans earlier that week, and we beat them pretty convincingly. So going into the game, I wasn't too worried, to be honest. During the game, it looked like we had a big advantage, and it was going to be more of the same as the 2 days prior. But not going to lie, I did get a little spooked. I did get a little scared. But in the end, with LeBron and AD not having their best game, we still got the dub. The others put in a good showing. Like D'Lo had that clutch 3 from the corner to keep the lead. Austin Reeves towards the end, he scored most of his points towards the end when AD and LeBron were kind of hurting. AD got a huge board that was important. It was good. They showed resiliency to close that game out after letting go of the rope and allowing the Pelicans to come in. But let's just talk about the next round. I'm gonna do an episode talking about my predictions for the first round after these Friday games conclude, and we know who the 8 seeds are in both conferences. But I'll say this: I don't believe that the Lakers have a 0% chance against the Nuggets. Like I just don't believe that. I think last year in the playoffs, the Lakers surprised a lot of people going to the Western Conference Finals, and then we played the Nuggets tough. All 4 games, yeah, they did sweep us. But all those games, for the most part, came down to the last few minutes. And I mean, they showed out better than us. But D'Lo was having a terrible, terrible series. I think he shot like 20-something% from 3 or something, maybe even lower. Maybe he was like in the 18s, and he scored like 6 points a game or something like that, something ridiculous. So I think we have a better supporting cast, or maybe not better, but more productive. So I guess better. I think our supporting cast has been doing better this year a little bit, and AD looks more fresh. And I think the big takeaway is that there's 2 days in between games instead of 1, and it's early in the playoffs, so AD and LeBron could be a little more fresh. Obviously, I do understand that the Nuggets are defending champions, and they look like a juggernaut when they really get focused and try, which they will do in the playoffs. So it's going to be a big task to ask the Lakers to upset them in the first round. But anything can happen. And if LeBron shoots the 3 like he's been shooting the 3 this whole season, I mean, I'm just saying anything can happen. Overall, good win for the Lakers. And I'll say this. There's another thing that pisses me off that I'll get off my chest. Good win against the Pelicans. We'll see how they do against the Nuggets. I hope they, make it a series. Lakers in 7, low-key. A little teaser to my picks on Friday. But the people, there's a lot of casuals, dude. Like, we're in year 3 of the NBA, and people still don't know how the play-in works. And then also, because people don't know how the play-in works, they try to take shots at the Lakers and LeBron, because LeBron has this clip where he was like, whoever invented the play-in is like the dumbest person ever. And because LeBron has been in the play-in, they think that he benefits from it. So he's like, bro, like, what are you talking about? How is it the worst? How is it playing the worst thing ever if it's helped you out every single year? Well, here's how, you dumbasses. I'm sorry. Here's how, you ignorant people. Before, in the playoffs, the 1 through 8 seed will make the playoffs. Easy as that. 1 through 8, you're in. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5. Easy. Now, because of the play-in, only 1 through 6 get in automatically. 7, 8, 9, 10 got to play an extra game or 2 depending how it plays out. Here's how it doesn't benefit LeBron. LeBron has always finished in the 7 or 8 spot. So in the old NBA, he would have been in the playoffs automatically. He wouldn't have to play this extra game. Now, he has to play this extra game because of the play-in. You guys would have been correct. You guys would have been right if LeBron got into the playoffs as a 9th or 10th seed. then you could say, okay, this has helped you, because in the past, those spots would have been in Cancun already. They would have been gone. They would have been in their couch watching the game. But he hasn't been in those seeds. He hasn't been a 9th or 10th seed. He's been a 7 or 8 seed, which in the old NBA would have made the playoffs automatically. So just read up on that and stop talking, because I see a lot of comments talking shit. Let's talk about Nadal. He played Barcelona. He looked pretty good. His forehand had a couple moments. His backhand had a couple moments. But his mobility really wasn't there. His serving, he was taking a lot of pace. He was never the paciest server ever. But now it's just like even more highlighted that there's something missing there. His mobility, his serving, and just the consistency on his forehand and backhand wasn't really there, to be honest. But what can you do? I mean, he's old. He's coming back from a lot of injuries. It's been a lot of time that he's been away. So I think he said he is going to play Madrid, and he's probably going to play Rome. But he kind of teased that he's not going to give it his all on either of those. He's just trying to, the way I interpret it is like he's trying to, play those tournaments, say his goodbyes, and try to find some rhythm. And then the one tournament that is worth leaving it all out there, maybe playing with a lot of discomfort and just getting through a game with a lot of discomfort, that's worth dying for, is what he said, is Paris, which is Roland Garros, which is, the French Open that he's won 14 times. So we'll see. I mean, I hope he has one last amazing run in the French Open. I hope we get one more Djokovic against Rafa Nadal in Paris. That'd be amazing. Am I counting on it? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, he did look pretty good in the first match at Barcelona, but the opponent, I think Nadal's aura was like just psyching him out. He did a lot of unforced errors, so he helped Nadal out a lot. Once he played Deminar, who's a super fast player, number 11 in the world, has having a great season. It looked like it was hard for Nadal to get through him. Like he just didn't have pace on his shots. And I mean, in that second set, Deminar just beat him pretty easily, to be honest. So I mean, I'm holding my breath. I do love seeing Nadal back, and it's great to see him back on the court. But I'll temper my expectations, even though, for my opinion, he's my GOAT. He's everyone's Clay GOAT, obviously. So never count him out. But I mean, it's just nice to see him. The end is definitely here. You can see it. Like this is there's like, in my head, there's like a 2% chance he comes back next year. I know he's been saying it might be his last year, but now with all these injuries, it's almost assuredly his last year. He said this is probably, but he still hasn't said this is it, because he pretty much said this is most likely my last year when he was talking about Barcelona, but he never said this is my last year in Barcelona. It did feel like it was his last, but we'll see how he plays it out. Just happy to see my GOAT back out there, and I'm hoping for better Madrid, better Rome, but obviously I'm hoping for a great French Open. That should do it for this episode of the Hearts Handle Sports Podcast. As always, have a great day. Thank you for listening. Peace.
Slide no sudden moves. On my goons are stretching. And I'm taxing for the feet. On my damn collection.